participation. And if anybody has any leftover inspiration that they neglected to use, go ahead and clear it. Um, and then we can get going for tonight.
Very cool. So we started off our second season, I suppose, last session, where we kind of had to find something to do now that like we did the spirit thing. Well, I mean, we have stuff to do, but we were trying to decide what our next course of action was. In doing so, we talked to one of the was he like an alchemist? Was it
He
that
was a
we
researcher.
like a researcher? Yeah. Um,
So
about
you guys revived a researcher.
we revived a researcher. Yeah. Helped take him to his little lab area, and he sent us off on this quest to look for. I had a bunch of notes here that I'm trying to still open. Sent us out on a quest to find an old myth, I guess it would be, or like almost like a fairy tale or something that you would tell like children to scare them about a like mad king who controlled people but using blood magic of some sort. Um Obviously this sounded too good to be true, so we had to definitely just dive right into what's probably going to be our death. And we decided to head off into main region here. Sorry, I don't remember where it was. I didn't write it down. It was in the ruins of that were just near the Twin River Valley, right? Like, was there a city name given? I don't think there was.
Eh,
I
I
just
think we
have
just had a
ruins in Twin
direction
River.
from Treetop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
since
southwest of Treetop.
since nobody's really speaking up here, when you guys were originally deposited just outside of Treetop from the Murder Mystery Mansion, you were placed near an old battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And that old battlefield is where Pedalin found the bangle,
Right.
and that's where you guys were sent back to.
Right. I just couldn't remember if there was a thing. I just have like Twin River ruins, basically.
Oh no, it's closer to Treetop than Twin River.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's like a day from
From
Treetop.
Treetop. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we headed off on our way there, trudging through the snow. Got attacked by some wolves that definitely like to breathe some cold air and almost kill Darby. And yeah, I'll pass it off to Hank from there.
So before the wolves, there was the thing of Darby going back to the salty dog captain to get that ale
wet
back.
dog.
The wet dog, right? Because he wanted to give it to the lady who mentioned it. So him and Egg went over there, and he turns out Isaac can swim faster than Egg can run. As Egg ran across the water to try and get there. And Isaac made a deal with him, the captain, to bring that he would get the ale, but then he has to bring Captain back a magic ball that will return so that he can have something to his dog that will always come back.
Did I ever give you guys the name of the captain? I thought I did.
You did, but that was in my previous character notes, and those are gone.
It's Captain Iron Toes. Nolan's Iron Toes.
All right, Captain Iron Toes. Yes, we were surrounded by those wolves. We killed them. We skinned them. And also, notably, Isaac's sword got a pip of blood from. It took his blood, I think, was what happened. And then he experimented with other blood and couldn't get it to fill up another pip. his new swangly sword. And then we met a bunch of. So then we found that tower, and there was a camp in there. So we stealthily approached and sort of hid, but the group that had camped there got the jump on us, and it turns out they were another group of factors who were in the area. There's Nidric Stonegut, the dwarf, Fizzle Whip, Happencast, the mage, Shivers, the gnome, and they are the Stunties. That's the
Yes.
name I've written down. Okay. So then Egg and the dwarf kind of got along being straight talkers, and the dwarf asked us to agree to not impede on their hunting for relics here. Then they would let us stay there for the night, and then we would just leave in the morning, which we agreed to in the moment. And so then we stayed in camp, and then had a conversation at night with their captive elf, which I'll pass off for.
Darby, having some history with this Captain Seaspear, was trying to get some information out of the elf, and it did kind of confirm our suspicions that they were looking for the same item that we were. And I think everyone was kind of on the same page about not turning against the group that we ran into. But it did reveal that the ruins may exist, and we may have a bit more information regarding the manner of getting in, so to speak. And I'm not sure how much else there is, because I feel like we stopped session like right there.
Well, if there's anything maybe that you feel was missed or that you wanted to add on to, you could.
Well, just for clarification, we are looking for the signet ring of the Twice King, which, as was mentioned, seems to be either a myth or kind of like the boogeyman amongst the elves, a tale that you tell children to get them to behave because he's super evil and has been blood controlling people. We did end up taking a little bit of blood from the body of Prince Verlaine, since he wasn't using it anymore, in order to activate the bangle. But we aren't really sure how the bangle will work in terms of opening the tomb or potentially controlling anything that we find in the tomb. I think that was pretty much it. That was pretty well covered. Otherwise,
What was the new group name that we came up with? Because you took all the wolf pelts to make hats.
oh, I think we're the wolf pack now, aren't we? Because we took all the wolf pelts to make little hats with little ears on them.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, I mean, I wanted one.
Right. So you guys, what I have noted is that that you guys skinned four. Actually, I think five, because one of them got butchered. 5 of the wolves, and did manage to get. What is that sound? Susanna, what are you doing?
Nothing. I was just tightening the thing on my microphone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys skinned 5 of the wolves and were able to acquire 3 pristine pelts with the heads intact, so that you can make little skull caps. And then you guys ended up butchering 3 of them and putting the meat in the pit.
Well,
And throwing
technically
out
in the
some
barrel and the
right, and you guys threw out some old rotted meat as well.
yes.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else to recap, then let's hear anticipations and things that you know. What do you expect to happen? What do you want to happen?
Okay, I guess since we start with me, I am looking forward to potentially finding um the entrance to the Tomb of the Twice King. Like, I think that it's going to have something to do with the bangle that we're going to have to figure out, some kind of puzzle or, magic that we're going to have to figure out. And, maybe the stunties come with us, maybe they don't. We'll just have to see how that develops. Passing it off.
I'm hoping we can avoid having to kill people, because I know for sure we're not gonna walk away from this. But I feel like it's been a while since we've had a good old dungeon delve. So I'm excited to get into the mechanics of that.
Gotta do it again.
All right. I guess
Are
I'm
we
looking
are
for
we
the.
skipping egg?
Sorry, I was talking and was muted.
Oh,
Oh,
Because of shifting and share stuff that I wanted to mute. Um, yeah, I'm kind of just echoing that stuff of, hopefully we can successfully negotiate with the stunties and get some good dungeon crawling in. Just and then, set off back to Spira with successful. That's my hope. That we don't die.
yeah. I'm excited to see what happens with this other group. Just in general, doesn't really matter to me how it happens. I'll go with the group on it. Um, but more importantly, I am also very, very excited to get into some dungeon adventure type thing. That's my favorite thing to do. So I am like super stoked.
ready to dungeon crawl. Okay.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, so let's get started. Or did you have something else?
Ah.
All right. So I think as we left off last time, we had literally just gotten into Darby's portion of the rest, and he was having a conversation with Valenus, the Sea Spear. And my understanding is that there was a lot of back channel communication that was going on. So if anything there that needs to come to light should come to light, this is your opportunity to do so. But otherwise, we're going to pick up right there in the middle of Darby's watch. No? Okay. All right. So Darby and Valenus have had their conversation. The last thing that I noted was that it was very apparent at a glance that Shivers was watching intently at the conversation that was happening between the two. I don't recall if Darby gave a direct answer to Valenus in the moment or not. So if so, refresh my memory, please.
Did not. Left it very vague
Okay.
and told him
All
to
right.
be careful, not get himself stabbed in his sleep.
I see. Well, okay. Then as your watch comes to a close, this will be the end of it. So you were the last watch, weren't you?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. As the first light of the sun begins to illuminate the edges of the cloud-covered sky and seemingly endless onslaught of steady snowfall, a hint of movement catches your eye. You barely have time to register that it wasn't just another snowflake as the pale eyes and mangled white fur of a beast leaps from a snowdrift, having been practically invisible beforehand. Its jaws snap violently in the air just as you manage to pull back and trying to tear your throat out. So roll initiative.
Ooh.
Actually, I'll just hit roll initiative. Roll all initiatives. There. And give me a perception check, Darby. Since you're the only one awake other than Shivers and Valanus.
Open roll or tower roll?
You can open roll it. It's combat. Well, at a 26, I'm going to just go ahead and hit this button.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so Darby, as you take a quick glance and survey your surroundings, you see the mangled corpse-like visage of several wolves, including a large one that just leapt out of the snow and tried to snap at you. In fact, I should probably... Wait, what? Am I on the wrong layer or something? Why can't I... What in the world is happening? I can't select anything on the map anymore. Oh, is that why?
Crap,
Yes,
I
that
don't
is
even
why.
see a map.
And I'll share it in a sec
Oh, okay.
if I need to.
Yeah.
It's
You
the
can
same tower map as
also
last time.
double click your token on the top right of the sheet and it'll bring up the active map your character is on.
I forgot I had map layers enabled. Okay, so let's put Darby here. Yeah, so it snaps. You pull back just in time. We roll initiative. You realize that you're surrounded by wolf corpses. It's just you, Shivers, and Valanus who are awake. You have the initiative. What do you do?
I have bless on me as well. Can you take that off?
Oh, sure. Somebody else have it? Yeah. Egg also has it. Okay, there. Everybody is unblessed.
Okay, well, this kind of caught us off guard. Uh, fuck. Okay. Bonus action. I will summon my gun
Okay.
since I actually did dissipate it for
Mm-hmm.
the ambush, and then
As the familiar weapon forms in your hand, it takes you a moment before you realize that instead of the gun that you're used to holding, you appear to be holding a squishy, soft tentacle that is rather limp.
motherfucker.
Oh. Well,
Okay.
that's a good time for that to happen. Don't worry, it
Yep.
happens to most guys.
Unfortunate. All right, I'll fucking toss it on the ground and then pull out my rapier and yell out, "Everyone up!"
All right, everybody
And
roll a
then-
perception check, please.
I think the tokens are below the grid because I cannot target.
Me neither.
Do you have a little toggle grid toolbar at the top? Looks like a stack of 3 squares.
Nope.
Because I can move you. There's nothing on this layer. There's nothing on this layer. How do I change what layer you're on? Can I change what layer you're on? Shit,
When
I
I
need to check
minimize
my
the
other
map,
ones.
it actually shows a lock saying read only. That's probably why.
No, because there's 3 different layers so that I can add tokens and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you targeted something, Rumble.
Yeah, from the combat tracker.
Oh, okay. Because the only thing I can do is clear the map and reopen the map. And I'll have to put everything back where it was. So I think for this, just tell me where you want to move and I'll move you. And then for the rest of the things, it should hopefully be easy enough to work with. Oh no, what happened? Oh, hold on. I can fix it. It's going to boot everybody though.
Okay.
I turned on one of the things that I'd originally turned off.
Gotcha.
Because of this problem. All right, enhanced images. Turn that off. Start the game. Should be good. All right, you guys can reconnect. Just plagued with technical issues tonight.
Yeah.
So it goes.
Yep.
All right, open this bad boy back up, please. Reopen. Oh, right. It's loading everything. Gets mad. All right, I see everybody has connected but not loaded in yet. The map is now very angry with me, but it works. Yep. Okay, that works now. Sweet.
Yep. Good.
I see 2 instances of Darby on this map.
One of them is Goo Darby.
Yeah.
Oh, there's two instances of everybody on this map. I see. What is preload image? Interesting. Okay. Learning new things every time I use this, but we should be good.
Okay. I yelled out. I'm gonna attack.
Okay. It looks like you hit the zombified winter wolf. You're clearly wounding it as you step aside and slip the rapier into a nice, homey little place, looking for vital organs.
And then I use 10 to move there, and I'm just gonna back up a bit.
Okay. All right, Shivers. Shivers seems surprised that she missed what should have been an obvious sign of creatures advancing, but is likely due to the fact that she was very, very distracted by Darby having a conversation with the prisoner. So she's going to step forward, and she's going to pull out her crossbow and shoot down at the one below her. And miss. Awesome. So then she's going to toss the crossbow aside, pull out her short sword, and leap down to fight. Valanus can do nothing because he's chained up. All right. Number 7. 10, 15. All right. The zombie wolf, driven purely by instinct, attacks the closest target, which just so happens to be Darby. Its hideously disfigured jaws do manage to sink their teeth into meat, damaging Darby and attempting to pull him down, but he manages to stay on his feet. Number 9. 5, 10, 20, 30. All right, this one is going to charge the sleeping Udanar. Oh, right, you guys rolled perception. I think Egg was the only one who didn't wake up.
Yeah, I had a 28.
Yeah. Egg had like a 6 or an 8 or something.
Sound sleeper.
Yeah.
Great.
So, Pedalin and Unar, you will be awake in this initiative, but you are currently prone. Egg,
Okay.
you will come in at the top of the next round because there's no way you sleep through all the combat.
Okay.
So let me target Unar. Let's go ahead and make you prone.
Okay.
And it's going to try to bite. Somehow, it misses a groggy, just waking up gigantic furbolg. I mean, I guess maybe one of its eyes got stabbed out when they were fought, when they were killed. Who knows? And Pedalin, the initiative is yours.
Okay. So it eats your movement if you stand up from prone, correct?
Half of your movement.
Half movement. Okay, so I'm gonna stand up, and as I stand up, I'm gonna raise both hands to the side of my body, and a couple of stones raise up from the broken tower, 6 of them, swirling around me in like little tiny meteors, as I cast mini meteors, and 2 of them are going to go into the space between Wolf 9 and the giant winter wolf so that they hit all 3 of those wolves without hitting any party members. So there's 1.
I do see a failure. I see 2
Okay.
failures.
And then the other.
I see damaged wolves. Oh, it looks like Wolf 7 didn't get the second one because it automatically untargeted him whenever you did your first attack.
Oh, okay. Do I need to retarget him real quick?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
All right, now roll damage.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And then so it goes pew, pew, explodes, shattering sparks all over the wolves. And then the same hand that cast and pointed one of the meteors, 2 more blasts out. 2 more blasts come out with an quickened Eldritch Blast at these wolves. So let's target number 9 here. Pew.
All right. The actually, let's just say that number 9 is one of the ones that was not only skinned but also butchered, so it's all bone. And the Eldritch Blast just smashes into the brittle bones of the creature. Roll damage,
Okay.
obliterating it in a cloud of chalky bone.
And then the other Eldritch Blast goes pew at number 7.
Yeah, that's a critical hit. That's also dead.
Woohoo!
As Pedalin obliterates the 2 skinned, butchered zombie wolves.
And then since I have half movement, I'm going to move away because I anticipate some cold breath coming out of that zombie wolf, and I pass my turn.
Okay. Udinar, you wake up to the sound of spells being flung, eldritch chants, like unearthly snarling. What
Day
do
in
you
the
do?
life, really. Is it obvious? Okay, obviously I get up, so 15 speed gone.
Mhm.
Is it obvious that these are undead?
Well, everything happens in unison. So yes, you saw the two skeletal dogs that Petalin obliterated as they were obliterated.
Okay. In that case, we're moving right here. And I'm going to turn undead and see what I can do.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I don't have an undead template on any of them.
Oh, I see. So it's not going to count.
Hold on. Let me check. All right, yeah, just go ahead and target them all, and
Okay.
then I will manage it.
Okay.
Like, whichever ones are in range.
Actually. Okay. You just want me to, like, roll the dice itself, and then you can do it manually?
I mean, you use the ability, and I
Okay.
will manage what needs to be managed.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Did any of them succeed? What is the DC? 16? Okay. Literally none. What does your turn undead do again?
If they're CR rating 1 or lower, they're instantly toast, or they
Okay.
can't move near me and have to move away from me.
Oops. Okay, so you did not target 12 and 11, is that right? Or also 13?
Oh, did I miss a... There's only 2 that I should not have
Okay.
targeted because they're too far.
Okay, so just 12 and 11. Okay. Wow. All they were is dust in the wind, as they are purely obliterated by the divine energy of Udinar's holy symbol, as he channels the divinity through him. The Winter Wolf, however, seems to have resisted the effects and just bares its fangs.
Yeah, I figured that happened. Okay, going to use a bonus action to grab one of the beads and cast Blessed on the other 3.
Okay.
Damn.
That's really only a bonus action? That's pretty dope.
From your prayer bead, yeah, that you gave me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
really good. It is
that
a
was-
spell
that
slot
was-
if I have to upcast it to get me in there,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. Well, I knew it was like good, because I rolled it and I saw the rarity of it, but that's one of the random generated ones. So, yeah, I don't fully know what it does all the time.
yeah.
Neato. Okay. Well, you have obliterated basically the entire threat. So let's go ahead and finish here. Zombie Wolf 1 is going to attack Shivers. Or 11, I guess. Somehow it hits Shivers. It chomps on her pretty meekly, actually. And manages to pull her down. So you hear a feminine grunt from just outside the tower. And then the Winter Wolf. Let's see. As Petalin may have guessed correctly. Get everybody here.
Probably a way to do it.
I don't think so, actually. I either skip Udinar or I skip Fizzlewhip, and the wolf is not the zombie wolf is not a mathematician, so it's going to go for the bigger clump. So, yeah, no Udinar. Did I move you? I think
Yeah.
you were here, weren't you?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's a clear intersection, but 5e does cones funny. Gotcha. So this actually won't hit egg either.
How does it determine that?
So if you look at the cone template in 5e, it looks like this.
Oh, okay. I see.
So that doesn't hit egg. I think this might be the most.
He's one square in between there.
I think here. Nope, that doesn't work either. So, yeah, from 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this hits Egg, Nedrick, and Isaac. All right. So then everybody's going to have to make their dexterity saving throw. Poor Nedrick. As the chill the chill wintry blast flows from its guts, exposed guts, mind you. Then Wolf 12. So it breathes that hoarfrost, and now it has the rank stench of death along with it. This wolf doesn't really see a way to get over there, so 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Just enough to get to Udinar and attempt to chomp him. Oh, you're no longer prone.
Oh, I suppose I could remove
So
that for myself.
So that will not hit. All right. Fizzlewhip wakes up a bit groggy. Target this. And casts a sleepy magic missile, which damages the zombie wolf. That should be 2 missiles. All right. He then yawns and stretches, and Nedrick wakes up in a shout, being covered in hoarfrost. His beard is frozen. He's going to stand up. He's going to grab his nearby spear. He doesn't even bother with the shield, and he looks around in a panic and says, he looks around in a frenzied panic, specifically making time to check that Valenus is still chained up. And upon seeing it and realizing that he's not being attacked, he's going to step forward and try to finish the job of what Fizzlewhip and Udinar were kind of entangled with. 2 hands, shoves the spear into the winter wolf or the zombie wolf, re-ending its life. Steps forward and is going to thrust at the winter wolf twice. Oh, should not be targeting the zombie wolf anymore. This again. That's a hit. And that's the same roll, so it should be a hit. dealing a significant portion of damage with his heavy brawn-tipped spear as he just, with lightning speed, jabs it twice. Egg, you kind of snort, roll over in your sleep. You know, maybe brush some. Oh wait, no, you were hit by the frost breath, weren't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, you're awake. You're awake. You're in the
Uh-huh.
initiative.
Yep. Very awake. All right. Gonna attack this wolf.
You wake up. You
Uh,
stand up. What weapon are you using?
My spear is reach, right? That's a reach weapon.
The break spear?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay. So Egg's just gonna stand up where he is and attack from where he's standing, rather than
Okay.
move. And he's gonna stab at it.
Okay.
Stab, stab.
You hit it. The dead flesh parts easily. You stab deep into the creature.
Stab again.
That's another hit.
I can re-roll that.
Just tell me what to add or subtract.
Yeah, I'll just roll a d10. So add 1.
Okay. My fantasy grounds is chugging. Anything else?
And then I'll use my Polar Master for my bonus action.
And that is a hit.
Okay.
For 8 additional damage. All right. Don't forget, you can pass your own turn.
Yes. This is Egg does like a Soul Calibur pole stab.
Are you
Nice.
Killick now?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, Darby, the initiative is yours.
The wolf is kind of on a half square. Where is it exactly? Okay. I'm going to bonus action dash. That'll be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Enough to
Do
get there.
you should take an attack of opportunity for that? Because you
How
passed
so?
through it. You went through and out of its range, specifically here.
Ah. I was here.
Mm-hmm.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 if I loop around Udinar.
Okay.
Just barely enough.
Okay.
And then I will attack that wolf that is biting down.
That is a hit. Sneak up on the distracted wolf and I don't know, spit roast it with your rapier? Because it's dead.
Just all the way through.
Yeah. In fact, Shivers may even have been surprised to see the tip of the rapier come out of the wolf's throat. But, you know, being skilled with a weapon, you thankfully didn't stab her. She's going to stand up, glare at you menacingly, and then scale the wall to get back up. 20 feet. No, she can't even do that. So she's going to stop halfway up. No, because she can also bonus action dash, going to continue climbing. So 5, then 10, 15, 20, 25. She's going to attack the winter wolf with her short sword. Why? Oh, because she's still prone. So it dropped to 19, so that would have been a hit. As she obliterates the zombie winter wolf with a sneak attack. Just like leaping on its back and stabbing her short sword into it multiple times and like tearing its spine partway out of its, the fur that's exposed, as it kind of slumps to the ground dead. And I believe that is the end of combat. The sun is now just beginning to peek over the horizon. So if everybody wants to take 10 minutes to rest, and then we'll call it a long rest.
Okay.
Which I assume
Excellent.
they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 4 remaining mini meteors around Petalin are just kind of swirling very slowly in orbit around her head, like a tiny little halo.
And then, as you complete your rest, any remaining spell effects will fade, because I don't want to have to deal with the shenanigans. All right, it is dawn. Unfortunately, the thick cloud cover means that it's just barely filtered light coming through the clouds. It is still thunder snow. You see that through the night, somewhere between 6 and 12 inches fell. So it is a rather blizzardous affair outside. But as Ned and Fizzle and Shivers begin to gather their things to store up camp, they just kind of occasionally give glances to your group like, well, beyond then.
Uh-huh.
If it snows any more like this, you won't be able to see me.
Nedrick lets out a hearty laugh and says, "Ha! Short joke."
This guy gets it.
Can I go up to Ned
Uh-huh.
and I'll say to him, "May we have a conversation in private?"
He licks his lips and kind of tries to run his fingers through his beard before realizing that it's still frozen. Lets out a disgusted sigh and says, "Well, anything you might want to discuss, you can discuss in front of me crew, but what is it you wanted to talk about? Is there a reason we need to keep it private?"
Less from your group, more from your captive.
Shivers, keep our guest company. Fizzle, you come with me and let's have a conversation. Shivers does as told, and we'll go and kind of Slav squat right in front of Valenus with her knife between her feet, or her short sword between her feet, after recovering her crossbow. Is it just Darby, or is anybody else coming along? Doesn't sound like anybody else is coming along. So, Nedrick steps outside of the tower along with Fizzle to have a conversation with Darby.
So, as you understand, your captive and I have some history. For some reason, he seems to think that puts us on good terms.
He looks at you and strokes the frozen beard, seeming to once again forget he can't just run his fingers through it, gets him caught, tugs at it for a second, is like, "Now this is news to me. What do you mean you have a history?"
I feel like I mentioned it a few times the previous night, but that man
He
sunk
shrugs
my
and
ship.
says, "I've slept since then. There were undead wolf creatures. Uh, like I said, refresh my memory." I heard you say you sunk your ship. So what else?
Well, you don't need my life story, but I'm not particularly keen on him. But for some reason, being a man of the sea, he believes there's some honor among thieves. He left me a proposition last night to kill your folk, and he promised me riches. Now, of course, silly of him to assume that I would take his side.
Nedrick laughs when you mention the riches and kind of pats his gut and says, "Is that right? And what riches was it exactly that he was promising you?"
He was vague, but I was uninterested. The other information I was able to confirm from him, however, was the Twice King. Now, I understand what your group is looking for.
He just kind of looks at you, like he's you. Actually, give me an insight roll. Give me an insight roll. You can tell he's not used to really deception or deceit. He's wearing his thoughts very clearly on his face, though the words he says are contrary to that. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but you can clearly see that he's like, oh shit, they're onto us. Fizzle looks over, at him several times, and then at Darby, and puts his hand on Ned's shoulder and says, what my dear compatriot here means to say is that you seem to have keen instincts, sir, and you are quite right. We are here in search of the Twice King and some of his legendary relics.
So I'm hoping with this information, we can come to an accord. I understand you're just looking to get paid. All we wish to see is that Spira is the one who pays you for the relic.
Ned looks at Fizzle and back to you. He says, "We already have an accord. We agreed last night that you would leave us to the region as first claimant, and you would be on your way."
Aye, we did. And then the facts had changed. What happens if you scour this land and the man you have captive is not what you need to get into where you need to go?
Sounds to me, says Ned, that you have information that you're attempting to. Looks over at Fizzle. He says, "Barter? Is barter right?" Fizzle just kind of shrugs, like, "Yeah, barter with us. Uh, you're trying to alter the deal. Is that right?"
Sure, you can call it that. But it's more
And
so of, let's call it scratching each other's backs.
well, says Nedrick, clapping Fizzle, if this old dwarf has learned anything, it's that double dealers, triple dealers, four dealers, five dealers, however many deals, people who like to change the deals tend to keep changing the deals. So, what I'm hearing is that if circumstances change again, you're going to want to change the deal again. Am I incorrect?
I'm not a man for altruism. So, yes, there may be some items in the vault that we may discuss. However, the specific relic that we're looking for, all we wish for to see is Spira. So, if that much can be achieved, then we're more than willing to come along and help you and possibly provide you the information you're missing.
Fizzle speaks up again and says, "Okay, so if I'm reading this correctly, you are now offering to team up with us to find this Twice King, wherever he may be, and to share in the spoils, um, in the sense that you want to be sure that the spoils make it back to this Spira place." Yes?
Aye, that is the goal.
And if I'm to be clear in my understanding, you're going to help us, but we get the credit. And we're the ones who are going to be, in effect, selling our findings to the Spira?
Spear is in need of factors at the moment.
So,
Consider it a recruitment drive.
well, you just said you're not one for altruism, but I'm not seeing what you stand to gain here.
We have dealings in Spira,
Uh-huh.
and in order to further those dealings, we need to see that relics be reclaimed by Spira.
Right, but you're factors, right? Your group?
Aye, sure.
And factors don't work for free, right?
Not all payments are in coin.
Right. As I'm sure you have noticed, we carry a few trinkets and relics for personal use ourselves. These, of course, are gained through our various ventures, and not all of them always return to the employer in question. So, again, my question for you is what's in it for you? At this, Nedrick just kind of scoffs and sits down. You can tell he doesn't really like this kind of conversation.
We have our own business that we need to finish, and that involves bringing some specific relics back to Spira.
Right,
Now, what
you've
happens
made
from
that
that
much.
point on, we're not quite sure yet.
Okay, so
But if it involves
you've
us taking a loss in this case,
well, here's how I stand on the matter, and how I'm sure Nedrick is going to stand on the matter. Isn't that right, Nedrick? The dwarf just kind of scoffs and grunts in agreement. He says, "Look, we don't know you. We know that you seem to have had some dealings with the captive. We know that you seem to have some understanding of what we're doing here, and we know that you claim to be factors. Now, you are asking us to help you with this Spira place by rendering our services to them, which would all be fine and dandy, except your reasons for doing so are all shrouded in mystery, and that makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And typically, we go with my gut, or Ned's at least. So, my recommendation would be shed a little bit more light other than we have our own business, he says, while like waving his hands mysteriously in the air. And maybe we'll be inclined to renegotiate the terms of our original agreement. Perhaps this is a conversation that should be had with all of your group?
well, this will take a while to explain.
Ned shrugs and says, "It's not like we're going anywhere."
At this point, Pedalin kind of leans from behind the wall there and is like, "It's for his girlfriend."
Have you been listening the whole time?
Pedalin ducks back behind the wall.
Because if so, you didn't tell me you were listening the whole time.
Well, not the whole time, maybe just the last couple of minutes.
You should tell
'Cause
me things
it
like that.
only takes so long to pack up
Well,
your gear.
right. Well, I mean, they've only been talking for a couple of minutes. Sure, we can say you overheard that part as you were coming around the corner to let Darby know that maybe you had packed up his gear for him.
Well, if
So-
we're going to be out and open about it, may as well talk it out with everyone.
Okay. That's the way I like to do things, says Nedrick.
So Darby will start heading back in.
Okay. Ned and Fizzle will do the same. Gather around, brothers and sisters. Shivers turns around and scoots a little bit further away from Valenus, since her back is turned to him. Ned speaks up and says, "So it seems that one of your number here wants to change the terms of our agreement from last night. Now, I'm not a fan of a man who can't keep to the terms of his own dealings, but Fizzle seems to have or has advised me that it may be in our best interest to do so. So, I am willing to listen."
So you see, there's this crab. And I'll go through explaining like Spira popping out of the ocean and what we saw there and the current state of the city. And that
They are
our
all
goals align
plainly.
with
Give me
restoring.
a what's the persuasion skill? Is it persuasion?
Or performance?
No, not performance. It is persuasion. Okay. So Darby does his best persuasive effort. Anyway, continue, please.
Explain that the city is all ghosts, and right now our job for Spira is restoring Spira, and that involves going out for relics. So it's not necessarily a exchange for coin by bringing these relics, but we need more of the city restored in order to advance what we're looking for. And by bringing them on as contracting factors for the city of Spira, that meanwhile, while we're not compensated immediately, it's more so, hey, this will let us do more in the future.
Okay. So again, like Ned's whole thing is that he doesn't believe that you guys want to do something for what he perceives as nothing. And so he wants to know what the terms of the deal are. Honestly, between him and Shivers and Fizzle, like they are all looking at you with just like wide-eyed disbelief. Like, there's no way. There is not a giant city on a crab full of ghosts that you survived that is still somehow like you can put the ghosts back in the bodies. Doesn't really sound like a thing. It sounds like make-believe BS, but you wove a fairly convincing tale, so they're willing to listen. And say, what are the explicit terms of the deal? Say, we share information, we find what we're looking for. If we find anything more than what we're looking for, how do we divvy it? Are you saying that we get everything and you get nothing? As long as we take the bulk of what we find to this mythical crab Spira Island?
Out of character, I don't know that we can really risk them taking the signet ring, because what if they don't give that to Spira? What if they just give all the little piddly nonsense to Spira?
I mean, that's the deal is the signet ring for sure has to go to Spira.
Yeah,
That's,
what
like,
if
the
we
most important
specify
thing.
that we need the signet ring, but they can have
Yeah.
Well, it's
75%
them turning
of
in the signet ring to
Yeah.
Spira.
No, fuck that. I
And
don't
they-
trust that. Why would I trust
Right,
these people to do that?
we would go with them. It's not like we give it to them, like give them a letter of recommendation and send them on their way.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
don't forget that just because we didn't have to actually do the encounters doesn't mean that Spira is safe.
Yeah.
Hmm.
what if we just get the signet ring and they can have like 75% of everything else though that we find?
Well, I think that's the issue, them giving us the ring. That's why I'm saying go with them with the ring, have them turn it in. We're subcontracting. In terms
Middle
of other
management now?
stuff, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
that's fine, but I think that if we don't specify that we want the signet ring, they're going to find it and be like, "Oh, well this is just something we're going to keep for us," because they've already explicitly said that oh, well, you keep the best of what you get and we've done the same. I think we
Okay.
have to explicitly say that the signet ring has to go to Spira. But the rest is
So-
all negotiable.
official terms then. Do you really want to do a 75% split?
I mean, that's what's up for debate right now.
That's what he's asking. He's asking, do you
I
really
know
want to do so?
that's what we're talking
Yeah.
terms right now out of character.
Mhm. Right. No, I was
Yeah.
clarifying for Susanna because it sounded to me like she was saying, like, those are the terms on the table when that number came out of thin air.
Well, I made up that number just as a starting point. Like we can haggle back and forth. But that seems fair because if we get a big heavy relic, we have to compensate for that in their favor.
60
If we
40?
want to Sure.
Okay.
I
So
can live with
official
that.
terms would be
Oh, wait, Paul?
specifically the ring that we're looking for.
Hold on. Paul?
Yeah, no, I said I can live with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the ring is the one specific thing that we need to go back to Spira. Everything else 60-40 split in their favor.
Yeah, because we can't. If they don't believe us, that we're not going to persuade them to necessarily come back to Spira with us. That's got to be on the table. So, I think that's fair.
So to be as clear as crystal on my end, to make sure I understand, you're starting by offering them a 60% split?
They get 60%, but we
No,
get
Right.
no, that's
signet
where
ring
we
no matter.
that's where we end on. We
Right.
start
So
with a
the initial
50-50.
first term. Okay. we'll try and negotiate our way.
Yeah, we start with a 50-50. We get the signet ring, but they get first choice.
First choice of everything else,
Yeah.
50-50.
Is that where you're starting?
I mean, we could start
I
more
feel
in
like
our
us
favor
getting
and
the
then
ring
move.
is like the iffy part. I think our term should be is that ring goes to Spira. Doesn't matter who brings it there, but that ring has to go to Spira.
Well, I mean, that's where we're ending for sure.
Hmm.
How persuasive are you feeling?
Literally my job.
Okay. I mean, I'll find a way to give you guidance as well. I
I
probably should have
don't
done that.
know that you would think that would be a good idea. Sitting around in a circle publicly having the conversation. Because you do not have the ability to make guidance a subtle spell. I think Udinar would understand that they're going to recognize you're casting a spell, and that's probably going to sour your negotiation.
Okay. I'm gonna lay out the
So,
terms. What's this? So,
oh, no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
oh, I didn't know
Also,
if
I
you
think
had something to interject.
like you could frame it as our starting point was we leave. They had first claim to this, but we don't think they can actually get the thing they want and
Right.
that we're
So
after.
I'm
So
gonna
we're willing to negotiate to help them because we want it to go to Spira.
right. See, that's where
And
I was
then
waiting for somebody to
if
land
we're
on
gonna
that.
be if we're going to be working with them, then if they'll feel more comfortable, then for our time we can negotiate if we're going to be here what our split is from
Yeah.
there.
So what I was hoping somebody would say, but I'm just going to help you out for the sake of my interest in seeing how this goes.
Yeah.
You are bringing something to the table. You guys are bringing new information to them.
Yes.
You have value to add. You're not just in here trying to bully them into going to Spira.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they think right now.
Yeah.
Because you've only said, well, we have interest in Spira, so you need to take this stuff to Spira, and we'll
Yeah.
help you. Which, I mean, tell me the truth. You live in a wild world like this. Somebody pops up out of nowhere, and they're like, by the way, you're going to go to our boss now. Kind of shady, right? Give them a value add. So, with that information, give me a breakdown of what you say, and I will have that modify the DC of your roll, and then you can give me a persuasion check.
Okay. So, anyone correct me if I'm wrong here. So, biggest term is the signet ring. Is that going to us, or are we just saying it needs to go to Spira?
I mean, I don't think they'll just give it to us, but as long as it goes to Spira, sure. Yeah.
It should go to us. I don't understand why we would trust them at all. They break away from us at some point while we're camping. No.
I kind of agree with him, and that they're not going to want to go to Spira, like you were saying, just to go to our boss. I think they give the signet ring to us. So they give the signet ring to us. We give them the information to get into the tomb. Or, wherever. And then they get first pick on the 50-50 split from there.
I mean, honestly, I think that's fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The important thing being we actually have the information of how to get in the tomb and they don't. Their information about getting into the tomb is incorrect.
You assume.
Yes. We believe.
So that's what we're putting on the table is we specifically need the signet ring.
Mm-hmm.
In exchange, we will provide information on getting into the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll start at a 50-50 split and they get first pick. Correct, everyone?
Yep, I'm in.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Can I roll this in the open so everyone can feel bad?
Yep. Yeah, you can.
Great.
Awesome.
Nedrick starts to agree, but Fizzle puts a hand on his chest and looks at all four of you pretty calmly and says, "What makes you think that you have information that we don't on how to get into the tomb?"
Out of character. Do you think we ought to show them the bracelet?
They've got one with sticky fingers.
Well, how do we convince them that the bracelet is something that we have that could help us get into the tomb?
Well, I think it's less the bracelet and more the fact that we have actual royal blood.
Yeah.
But that's what they think that they have.
Right, but they're going off a rumor.
Well, they're just going to suspect that we're going off of a rumor.
We could just pull the, you know what? Go try it. We'll be waiting. We'll run into you later. And then we can actually talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then hope that he's not actually royal blood. Can you imagine? This is like, oh yeah, no, they got it. Oh, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, we
If
still
that's the
have
case, then we didn't have the negotiating point we thought we did.
Susanna, you were gonna say?
Oh, I was just going to mention that there was supposed to be a tablet near the cliffs to the southeast. That's also supposedly some information that we have that might be beneficial, but we haven't explored there yet, so.
It's going to be hard to convince them they don't believe in the spirit thing just in general.
I mean, I don't even think that's the issue at this point. The issue at this point is that they think they can get in fine, so why would they need us?
Right.
We think their
Exactly.
blood is bad, but we don't even know that for sure.
Well, and also, as Susanna / Petalin mentioned, you guys do have additional information again
Yeah.
that you know
Mhm.
they don't. But the only thing that was shared with them is vague detail.
Mm-hmm.
So Fizzlewhip's question still stands of why do you think that you have information or that we won't be able to do it?
We could start by telling them there's more to it than just having royal elf blood.
And then see how they react.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you expect them to react?
Yeah, just saying more to it. They might, because they have a bangle too, probably. Or
Why would you
maybe,
think
I don't
that?
know. I don't know.
I mean, they might. It's possible. I mean, we have a
Yeah.
bangle. We found it under some rocks, but
Yeah,
You found it under rocks in this exact tower.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems the bangle doesn't seem that.
I mean,
mean,
it's a very specific bangle, though.
I do not think that they have a bangle, but, you know, anything is possible. They
Okay,
are
I'll say to
probably.
them.
Go ahead.
I'll say to them, you may or may not have the blood you need, but do you have the key?
Give me another perception roll or persuasion. Fizzle throws his hands up and says, "We're not even sure we're going to need a key. Again, the information we have is vague, or we wouldn't have been here as long as we've been here." And Ned kind of checks him, elbow to the gut, and says, "What my illustrious, well-spoken friend here means to say is that we are still searching for a few key elements to solve this grand puzzle. So it sounds as though to old Ned that you might have a bit more information you could illuminate. You know, you didn't have to tell me about the scheming of the elf over there," and he hooks a thumb back at Villain, who, at this point, you're not entirely sure what happened, but you weren't entirely paying attention, and it seems as though Shivers has done something to him, because he is bound, gagged, blindfolded, and cowering.
Lord.
And he hooks the thumb over there and says, you didn't have to tell me about that. You offered me a 50-50. Look, here's how old Ned sees it. You get nothing unless you help. You carry your weight, we'll give you exactly the amount for the weight that you carried. Contribute and earn. Is that a fair deal?
So long as Spira sees that ring, aye.
I'll nod.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna let out a long iron gut sigh, encapsulated by a nice belch, and says, "All right then, it's a deal." He looks at Egg and says, "Shall we shake on it again?"
Sure.
Make sure to
Alright.
spit on your hand too.
So shakes Egg's hand vigorously with a strong, firm grip, and says, "Okay, so the terms are the ring, finders keepers, but goes to the Spira place, payment to be received, and everything else shall be divvied up based off contribution." Fizzle looks over and shrugs, Shivers nods. Says, "It seems as though we're all in agreement. And what do you call yourselves?"
Oh God. Go ahead, Pedalin.
I'm not sure that you would be happy with my response, but we call ourselves the Wolf Pack.
I was half expecting some awoos, but sure. Ned's like, "All right, the Wolfpack, fine. All right, so as we are now working together and all in one here, perhaps you could help us in solving the next step of the puzzle, which is how do you say?" And he kind of stumbles over his words, and Shivers finally speaks up and says, "Where do we start?"
Yeah, no, I was totally thinking about this too. It's like, well, we kind of don't really know where it is either, so we're gonna have to just look around for a bit and look real dumb.
We start to the southeast, to the cliffs.
Okay, sure, let's go.
Well, before we go carrying any extra baggage,
Eh.
do we want to confirm if the captive's blood is what we need?
And how would we do that?
Sword? Are you talking about the sword? Put it on your sword.
What? No.
Just stab him. It's fine.
Because do you remember what happened when we actually put the princess blood on the bangle?
Well, it technically goes in the bangle, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it glows a bit.
So
Is
do
it
we
still
want to
glowing?
confirm?
Oh, we have
Mhm.
vials of prince blood too, don't we?
Yeah, it's still glowing, so
Okay, I thought it would have faded after a while.
Well, how long has it been? What, a day?
it's been maybe a day. Well, hang on. How long does it take to get from Spira
He
on
literally said
back
we're
to
about a
Treetop?
day's travel.
A day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean from Spira to Treetop, because we put the blood in Spira.
Oh,
It's not even a whole day. You just sail from Spira to Treetop.
I thought it was farther out than that, but okay.
No. You guys summoned the crab to the beach.
oh yeah, so it's like a little ferry ride.
Actually, you know what? Before we move any further, it is 8. We need to feed the dogs. Let's take 5.
Okay.
All right.